If there is one thing that I take incredibly seriously, it's ambiance while reading. Not only am I a mood reader, but I also love to have like a really good ambiance playing when I'm reading, and it gets me like in the story more. I like to really match the aesthetic of the story, and it just overall it just gives me like a way better reading experience. I wanted to share a couple of my favorite Spotify playlists that totally go with a lot of the genres of books that I read. My number one right now is this one, Dark Academia. I love Dark Academia right now. It's like my entire personality. I love this playlist. It's perfect for dark gothic romance, dark romance, fantasy. It's very emotional, instrumental, kind of like a lot of cello, a lot of violin. It's very dark fantasy. Like you could listen to it reading Harry Potter, you could listen to it reading Devil's Night. It's such a good playlist. I've been listening to it nonstop. I listen to it while I work even. This is a really, really good playlist. Lo-Fi Girl is another one that I love to play when I'm working, but also I feel like it's good for just any genre that's not like fantasy, dark gothic fantasy romance, like just romance, contemporary romance, which I was reading a lot of that during the summer, so I think this is a really good playlist for that. Dark fantasy, this one is so good. I was listening to this a lot when I was reading One Dark Window, Throne of Glass. It has a darker feel, but I really like this because it's just, it gets you in that fantasy mood. Like, I don't know, it's just so good. I'm telling you, it's so good. House Targaryen themes. This is for those like battle scenes in fantasy books. Not only am I a huge Game of Thrones fan, but and like this music like speaks to me, but it's just so good when you're reading like a really good battle tension filled fantasy book. Then we have Fantasy Ambiance, which is just a great overall, like, throw it on when you're reading fantasy. I like this one. I don't listen to it as much, but it's still really good. And then POV, you're in a fantasy novel. This is the same thing. It's just totally giving fantasy vibes. I love this one. It has like a softer feel. It's not as aggressive. I would recommend this maybe like for ACOTAR or even Throne of Glass or just any fantasy series. I think this is a really good playlist to listen to. Now, what are your favorite playlists to listen to when you're reading?